Hey everybody! I went to Super Saturday in Salt Lake City, Utah. While I was at Super Saturday, I got a bit of inspiration. Everybody who's there knows about Plexus, enjoys Plexus, or has been doing Plexus. There was a couple of ladies there who led the Super Saturday. And so these girls are at the top of the company. And they said something that struck me. I have been taking Plexus for 2.5 years. I started in August of 2015, and I really, genuinely only joined because I wanted to make a lot of money. The sky is the limit and there is no cap on your income, and on and on and on. My girlfriends had done it in a year. They were able to get up to $100,000 every year with their rank, and they were able to earn Hawaii trips and cars and stuff. And so I was like, well, if they can do it, I'm gonna do that. So I joined for the business. However, I have noticed that I have a lot of growing to do, and I need to really improve on myself in order to have a successful business. So my business with Plexus did not take off immediately. I did not immediately rank up within the first year. But I say all that to say this. Today at Super Saturday, we were encouraged to share even if it scares us. So why, if I'm not having a successful business, should I post a video? Well, I have been taking Plexus for 2.5 years. I have been consistently taking my Plexus products. I have noticed a huge health difference, and that's what scares me. It scares me to share what I have noticed because it's slightly embarrassing. But if it scares me, and it's something that I don't particularly want to talk about, other people could be struggling with this and be looking for some way out. So I'm just gonna put it all out there, and you're going to have the whole story, and then you will say, ah, that's why she continues to take Plexus, and that's why she continues to post about Plexus, and that's why blah blah blah. So for the first time ever, I'm going to publicly share, when I was 20, maybe 21, somewhere around there, I was suffering greatly from this horrible, awful thing called hemorrhoids. I just assumed that this was my life and that this is how it was going to be forever. It was like a family thing. So like my grandma dealt with it and my parents, and so it's something that they were like, well, it's just, you have to deal. Here's all the things you can eat to help with it. Here's all the water you can drink. Here's all the exercises and blah, 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 blah. A story for you. I was in the library at my college and I was studying, and I got this really awful stomach ache. Like, it was just, my insides were exploding all of a sudden. Like, there was just pain. So I get up from my table, I go over to the bathroom, and I try to go to the bathroom, and I am unsuccessful. Now, this is the first time ever that I have gone to the bathroom and just not been able to do it. Like it just didn't happen. Like, there was nothing was coming out, and I freaked out. And so I'm in the bathroom by myself in this library. It's a small library. It was a small private college. I'm in there, and I'm sweating, and I'm trying to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, well, I can't do this here because it's a public bathroom, and what if somebody comes in and I'm in here and I'm just groaning and grunting and all that and nothing's happening? So I stand up and I put myself back together. I go out and I get my books and my backpack, and I practically run out of the library, and then I run to my dormitory. So I run to my dorm. I got into my room, went straight to my bathroom, and just tried and tried and tried and tried. And if you've ever experienced severe constipation, which was what I was experiencing, it's unlike any pain. I mean, I had 2 children naturally without any medication. That does not compare. The pain does not compare to the scary, awful, psychological nastiness that is severe constipation. So I am just grunting and I'm trying so hard and nothing is happening. And I'm 21, I'm a baby, so I'm freaking out. So next step is I drive myself with all of this pain. So I'm still in pain. Nothing happened. I put myself back together. I'm in all this pain. I go to Walmart looking for a stool softener because I figure, well, that's a thing. So I'm gonna go get some for the first time. I've never had to have any before. I go, I buy some. I pop one in my mouth at the Walmart without even reading anything, which hindsight, read everything before you take it. I mean, at least just read. Make sure that you know what to expect. And so I pop it in my mouth and then I start reading, and it says on the label that you should not expect results for 48 to 72 hours. So I'm like flabbergasted that A, this is even happening to me, because I didn't feel like I had a horrible diet because I'd already suffered from hemorrhoids. So I was already trying to eat high fiber. I was trying to eat lots of fruits and veggies. And so I was not doing horrible in that area. And yet I had done something bad enough to just stop myself up. It should be noted that I had no clue at the time that you should go to the bathroom 1 or 2 or 3 times a day. I had no clue. Like there was no reason for me to think, I didn't poop today. That was really weird. So who knows how long it had been since I had gone to the bathroom. I get in my car and I'm like, well, the next step is obvious. I'm going to the ER. I'm going to be totally taken care of. I feel confident in that. And then I get taken back pretty quickly. And I have to sit on this bed because, let's face it, a 21-year-old with severe constipation is not going to come before somebody who's bleeding, somebody who might be dying, somebody who's had a heart attack. It's just not. Those people get priority. I'm in the back on this bed and I am just in unbelievable pain. And I have no idea what to do. I'm like rocking and I'm like trying so hard to not think about the pain, but at the same time I'm also like in such pain that I think I'm gonna die. So I'm like trying not to die. Like mentally I'm like, okay, just don't die, just don't die. You're not gonna explode. And I start crying. And so I'm in the back, I'm by myself, and I'm just trying to survive until the doctor comes. And finally, after I'm guessing an hour, probably, it felt forever, but probably an hour of waiting, the doctor comes in. And he asked me questions, and I, knowing I had hemorrhoids, said, I have hemorrhoids. I'm guessing that they are blocking me from having a bowel movement. And he was like, well, that's not really a thing. So probably not that. So he had to examine me. And he did examine me, and he was like, well, yes, you do have hemorrhoids. Like this, that's true. However, they're not blocking you. The problem is that you are severely backed up. And I said, okay, so what do we do? And he explains to me that he has to take this tool. So he's going to take like this big long stick, basically, and he's going to shove it up me and pull out what he can pull out. And I can't believe I'm sharing this, but it was the most horrible experience I've ever had. And I was by myself and I was just a baby. And so he, after explaining that to me, I was like, okay, so are you going to give me a shot? Are you going to put me under? And he was like, no, I'm just going to basically do it because we need to just go ahead and do it. And I'm sure he was thinking, you're not the only one I have to deal with, and we need to go ahead and get this on the road. So I have to lay down on my side, and he takes that stick, he shoves it up my rear, and then he pulls out what he can pull out. And all the while, I'm I'm sure he thought, just sad little sappy thing, and I'm just whimpering. I'm like the whole time, and he pulls it out, and he is so sweet because I don't even remember his face. I'm sure I didn't look at him the whole time that he talked to me. I'm sure I talked to him like this. I'm sure I was like, well, there's this thing going on and I'm not able to go potty and it's really bothering me. And so he inserts the thing, I'm whimpering, he's going, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, the whole time just apologizing. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And he pulls it out. And then of course they have a bedpan, and he said, you need to push. Now, I hadn't had a baby before, so I was not comfortable pushing around other people. And I was like, what? And he said, you need to push, you need to get the rest out. And so I bared down, pushed a little bit out, and they had this bedpan full of my excrement. And I was like, oh God, I'm so glad that's over. And then the nurse was like, now you need to come with me and we're gonna go to the bathroom. And I was like, what? You just showed me that there was all of this. So she had this huge bowl of excrement that she had shown me, and yet we had to go into the bathroom. She went with me, and then I had to push the rest out. So I pushed the rest out, which by the way is not your average bowel movement. It was this extraordinary amount of feces that filled the bowl basically. But once we finally got the first part out, I was able to get the rest out. Now I say all that to say this, that all of that excrement had built up in my body. So I'm 21 years old and my body was unable to process that and had held on to it for who knows how many days. And so it had all built up to the point that I had to go to the ER to have a doctor assist me with my bowel movement. All right, well, that happened, so I doubled down on my fiber eating and my veggies and my, everything. You would think that if I was eating well enough to not have constipation and to be super serious about my diet, then I would not gain weight. Well, that's not the case. By the time I got married, I was like 185 pounds, so something wasn't right about how my body was processing stuff and how I was digesting everything. But there were no answers. Like, it was really just, well, you need to double down and you need to definitely not have soda. So I never had soda. You definitely not have sugar. So I very rarely had anything with sugar in it. You need to definitely not have carbs. You need to switch everything over to wheat. It needs to be fiber, fiber, fiber. So I lived my life just with painful hemorrhoids that would give me problems, but I learned to kind of just live with them. And then I had a baby in 2012. So that's fast forwarding 3 years later. And when I had my baby, Jeremiah, when I had him, it was like, oh, hey, remember that awful time when you were constipated and you had giant hemorrhoids? We're gonna like maximize that, which is common. If you've ever heard of hemorrhoids, it's probably in the context of a pregnant woman talking about what's happened to her since she had her baby. And so I had him, and then I had the worst hemorrhoids I've ever had. But I was just like, well, this is life. This is what it is. It's how it's going to be forever. And not only did I have to have the hemorrhoid that I had after Jeremiah lanced, they lanced it and then it didn't go down. So they had to literally come in. So a hemorrhoid, in case you don't know, is like a ball of blood on it's like a bubble, like a balloon of blood on your anus. And hemorrhoids are usually there, but they usually don't get really big and swollen and come out. Like, they should not be, here's where your anus is, it should not ever come out. And mine were definitely out. They were like hanging out. And that's painful because then stuff is pushing and it's super painful. So lancing it is when it cuts it open and then you get all the blood out or the clot out or whatever it is that's making that bubble a bubble, and hopefully it will shrink and then go back up. For the one that I had after having Jeremiah, they had to cut a square out of the whole thing and then let that come out. So you can imagine how awful and painful it is. I was okay at the doctor, but then I got home and I passed out from the pain. It was so bad. I passed out in my bed. And Sue, just life though, huh? It's just part of life. I mean, pregnant women talk about their hemorrhoids and they talk about how this is just part of it. Now, fast forward 3 more years, we get to 2015 and I see that Carissa Casey is about to get a Plexus Lexus and she's about to have $100,000 a year in her pocket and she is about to be on a trip to Hawaii every summer, and I'm like, well, every September, and I'm like, what? Like, what is she doing? So I asked her if I can join her for the business. Of course, she says yes. Anybody who ever wants to join anybody in any business in an MLM or network market, the person's probably gonna say yes. And so I joined her and I'm like, I'm gonna rock this, and you're gonna have a diamond, and I'm gonna be a diamond, and you're gonna be a diamond, and we're all gonna be diamonds, which is the top rank, the highest rank, which she is, by the way, in case anybody cares. She is a diamond right now. I joined and was gonna make all kinds of money, and instead found that my hemorrhoids are gone. So we're talking, I was 20, had horrible hemorrhoids. It's a genetic thing. You're just going to have to deal with it. Started taking Plexus, BioCleanse, and ProBio 5, and they are gone. That's what I'm shouting from the rooftops, except for not really. I'm not telling anybody. But I'm so happy because that's what Plexus did for me, is help me get rid of those hemorrhoids. I have not had a painful hemorrhoid in 2 years in the time that I've taken Plexus. And consistent with my products, I've had consistent bowel movements, which I learned I needed to pay attention to. I've had the good texture of bowel movements, and that is what inspires me now to share. That is what makes me think, gosh, what if there's somebody else out there like me? You could be the one right now that I'm looking right at you. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer with fatigue. You don't have to suffer with anxiety. You don't have to suffer with being overweight. You don't have to suffer with hemorrhoids. That's what it was for me. If I never lost weight, which I did, I mean, I'm maintaining, I guess, my weight that I lost, because I lost weight. I lose weight nursing. So it was all at the same time. I was nursing while I was starting my products. But I've maintained my weight loss. I feel awesome. I have energy like mad because Plexus Slim, that's my body totally responds to Plexus Slim. And I have sustained energy. But the biggest thing for me is I can digest food the way I believe I was meant to digest food. And I actually have a butthole again. You can see why this would be a little bit embarrassing to share and why it's taken me 2 years. I have an actual, like, those of you who've never had a hemorrhoid, you can't understand what it feels like to have to wipe and feel those big bubbles that you're going over and around and trying to clean. I don't have that anymore because I have an anus now, an actual one that is an exit and not something for a bubble to be in. So, if you suffer with hemorrhoids, if you suffer with something else, look up gut health. Whatever it is you suffer with, PCOS. If you suffer with being underweight, if you suffer with being overweight, if you suffer with food cravings, if you suffer with acne, it's not a guarantee. Plexus is never a guarantee. They cannot make any guarantees about, it's not a cure, it's not a cure-all, it's not going to keep you from getting cancer, it's not going to heal your cancer. However, it is going to help you. I'm convinced. I have a huge belief built up after 2 years of taking these products. I will never stop taking these products. That's one thing that kills me. Well, you're gonna take these products for the rest of your life? Yes! Yes! Are you kidding me? My alternative is maybe going and having to have a hemorrhoid lanced every year or 2 years. Why would I not take products and never have a painful hemorrhoid again in my entire life? Like, hello, are you going to keep drinking water the rest of your life and eating healthy foods? These are things we should be doing. Now, these supplements, I love them. I think that they are life-changing. I did not enter this business and get the results I thought it would. However, the results I got, what my health results, made it all worthwhile. Made the fact that I'm not currently making $100,000 a year with Plexus because I've not been working my business the correct way. That's my belief. But anyway, I've been taking my products the right way. And you know what that means? I have seen the results. That means that I have this freedom from what before I thought was just part of life, just the way it was going to be forever. So whatever you're suffering with, go Google it. Or yeah, in Google, just say gut health and fill in the blank. Whatever it is you suffer with. And if you find that gut health is related, which you will, if you find gut health is related, come talk to me. Let's talk about if Plexus can help, because Plexus is a gut health focused supplement line. So that's my story. I hope I didn't just totally gross anybody out. If I did gross you out, I'm sorry. I guarantee it was worse for me than it was for you hearing it. So, anyway, love you all. If this inspires anybody to share their Plexus story, or if it inspires you to go reach out to that Plexus ambassador you haven't talked to, or if it inspires you to come reach out to me and talk to me about it, obviously, anymore, I'm an open book, and I am a big believer. So, that's my story. Love you guys.